Welcome back to our Joseki series. I'm Ryan, and today I will talk about common josekis for 19 to 10Q players. Now, in the last video, I covered joseki relating to the start point. Today, actually, we will talk about joseki starting from the 3-4 point. In the 3-4 point, white has two common ways of approaching, and the low approach and the high approach. We will start with the low approach, and we talked about some ways of responding, and the knight's move was one of them. When black plays the knight's move, the corner this stone is a bit weaker, so white can attach and make the tiger's mouth. Here, black defends, and white extends down. And black finishes it by extending to the side. So now white can tanuki and play somewhere else. This joseki is where white locally settles. So this group is more or less alive, because if black later tries to attack it, white can actually make this turn in the corner, and this group is alive. So that's why white can tanuki. And here, black took more territory than the white, but white gets sente. So again, it's an even result for both players. The other common response that's also on this side is this extension. This extension, white actually has a very interesting move, and it's this. So we call this sort of, it's not really a shoulder hit because there's a move here. We call this sort of a sente move. It's an exchange, but it's called almost like a peep because it's threatening to extend down if black doesn't respond here. So black has to extend back most of the time, and then white again attaches to the corner. When black hane, then white makes the tiger's mouth, and then again black has to protect this, so black connects. And then white extends down. So this is pretty similar to the previous one, except now black doesn't have to play locally anymore. And you can see that this exchange, we call that exchange. This exchange is a bit better for white, compared to the case where if white played here directly, like the previous variation. So this variation is a bit different from the previous one, but it's more or less similar. Black takes this side and white takes this side. But in this case, black has sente. Another way to respond to this approach, since previously we said that this attachment was bad, is to make the kosumi, or the kick. And in this case, white extends, and black can extend. And then white extends. The reason why I put this joseki in this video is because people might be paying attention to the recent AlphaGo videos or AlphaGo records, and this is a common move that was introduced back by AlphaGo, and this move has almost become a new joseki. And in this case, black takes the corner and white takes the side. So that was 3 josekis related to the low approach. Now we will talk about the high approach. The high approach is more concentrated in the center, and it's common for black to attach and take the corner. So when black attaches, white hane, black pulls back, and white connects. And then black extends, and white also extends. So once you see more of these, you'll notice that a lot of these josekis are pretty similar. When white approaches, black does some moves to take one side, and then white, in the end, takes the other side. So you can almost view this as a logic point. So when you play a variation, or say you forget one of these, and you play it out, if you let your opponent take both sides, that's usually not going to be good for your side. So always try to keep that in mind, that these are even results, and that you want to at least have some influence on one side, or you take territory. So it's really a balance between the two. So about this one, white can actually play the tiger's mouth as well, in which case black also defends here, and in that case white extends one further. So this is also a variation in this case. And this move has a bit of weakness there, but it's extending further, so it's trying to achieve more. So both of these are josekis. Now for the high approach, black can also play the knight's move. This move pays more attention to the development on this side, and is much more common when black has already a stone here. So always keep in mind that joseki is only locally even. So always pay attention to what's happening on the others, all over the board and the other places on the board. So when black plays here, let's just pretend there's a stone here. White attaches, black kane, white pulls back. Then black protects the shape using tiger's mouth. This is a very strong shape. And now black has some good development here, and then white extends. So in this case, actually, black has given up a lot of the potential on the corner and moved it to the side. This variation is actually locally considered a bit better for white, because if we don't care about this side, if we just look locally, white has white stones on this side is in a better location compared to the black stones. But black has outside. The last joseki that we will cover today is the one space extension. In this case, white also attaches, but now since this move is on the third line, black kane is on this side, and black is allowed to be more aggressive. This is actually a common mistake that I see in many players' games, and I hope you'll remember this from this video, that here, even though it looks like white can actually just atari here and capture the stone in the corner. And white can't do that, except this is a trap laid out by black. In this case, when black extends, even though it looks like white captured the stone, later white has to spend another move in the corner to make it alive. And in that case then, this is a very bad result for white, because white took a small corner, the outside is weak, and white has to spend another move just to make the corner alive. So this is a trap by black, and keep that in mind. So if we go back 2 moves, in this case, it's actually the best move for white to give up these 2 stones and just atari on this side. Black connects, block, black has to capture, and then white extends. So in this variation, even though it looks like black captured these 2 stones, it's actually not that black is better, because if you actually count the territory, this is not a lot of territory. And you can compare it to one of the joseki that I showed you with the low approach. And I will leave it as an exercise to see which one that would be. So here are some common josekis between 19 to 10Q. Stay tuned for the next video, and remember to follow us on our website, Facebook, Twitter. Remember to subscribe. My name is Ryan, and I will see you next time.